Caitlin Clark committed a hard foul on Angel Reese as she was wide open for a free, easy layup. Routine play.
I mean, that was a big nothing. Wow. Especially after everything that Caitlin Clark dealt with last year.
But I do know why they're talking about the aftermath of the foul, which, by the way, was a routine. You gotta make them earn it.
Angel Reese faced off with Caitlin Clark, and it wasn't pretty. A heated exchange left fans wondering whether it was sportsmanship or something more personal. It was a clash, not simply a basketball contest, between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky. Imagine a crowded arena where every play is met with thunderous applause. You could feel the intensity on the court, and the stakes felt more than normal. It was evident from the first quarter that this would not just another game.
And it was the worst nightmare that the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese could have possibly imagined.
That the offensive player has a free lane to the basket. Now, before I get to why Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark fully.
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, two players who are bound to be linked whenever they play each other, were the center of attention. However, a moment that left everyone wondering if it was just rivalry or something personal was what really set off the drama. The furious outburst by Angel Reese during a play involving Caitlin Clark was one of the game's pivotal moments. This channel's anchor didn't mince words when he called Reese the most petty and severable athlete in sports right now.
Was that Caitlin Clark was actually reacting to a foul that should have been called on Angel Reese against Aaliyah Boston.
Angel Reese, boy, she's ate up with class, is she not? Wow. Wow, standard operating procedure foul.
Although it's difficult to overlook the context, that is a loaded opinion. Reese, who finished the game with a strong 17 rebounds, appeared irritated the entire time since Clark's presence took precedence over all other activities on the floor. Was her response the culmination of her annoyance at being outshined? Or was it envy, as others had implied? And since that's where things really start to pick up steam, let's now discuss Caitlin Clark's performance. Clark was putting on what can only be described as a basketball clinic, while Reese worked diligently beneath the basket. With 20 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds, a triple-double is not something that happens by accident, and Clark made sure that everyone in the building understood that she was in charge.
ESPN, your anti-Caitlin Clark agenda on full display. Going on and on about how that needs to be a flagrant.
Previously, when you see they cut off the play early, Angel Reese actually shoves Aaliyah Boston in the back to get a rebound.
One play in particular, a shot that Clark blocked, made things worse for Reese. It seemed like a declaration at that moment. It was a straightforward defense that established the tone for their battle. It wasn't ostentatious or extravagant. As the announcer highlighted, Caitlin Clark blocks Angel Reese's 4-foot 2-point shot, which perfectly captured the disparity in skill in this game. It wasn't made any better by the media. The emotional aspect of the game was heightened by ESPN's coverage, and accusations of bias entered the discussion. The host fueled claims that the network was overly relying on the rivalry narrative by pointing out what they described as a anti-Caitlin Clark agenda.
We've all played basketball. You know when you shove somebody in the back that the ref's gonna blow the whistle and call the foul? Well, the ref didn't call the foul.
Say a word about a flagrant foul prior to going to break, by the way, after the supposed hard foul.
To prevent her from having the easy basket, but Caitlin Clark actually fouled Angel Reese because she was trying to take up for her teammate.
Regardless of whether that is accurate or not, one thing is certain. Reese's emotional reaction only served to stoke the flames when Caitlin Clark let her game speak for itself. However, how did the Fever's huge victory result from Caitlin Clark's amazing night? The true narrative is found there. Caitlin Clark took charge instead of just showing up. She was clearly focused from the start, but the real fireworks happened just before halftime. Clark made a buzzer-beating three-pointer with the clock running out, sending the audience into a frenzy. Such moments not only provide a player energy, but they also set the tone for the team as a whole. Carrying the energy Clark provided them, the Fever emerged from the break with confidence and never looked back. As the host stated, "My goodness, that was Caitlin Clark's first one of the year." However, that single shot wasn't the only part of her triple-double. It served as the cornerstone of Indiana's team supremacy. It wasn't just Clark's numbers that made this victory a landslide. Aaliyah Boston, Natasha Howard, and Kelsey Mitchell were among the players that made significant contributions. Boston gave the Fever the tenacity they needed in the paint with 19 points and 13 rebounds. All night long, Chicago was under pressure thanks to 15 points from each of Howard and Mitchell. The problem is that Clark was laying the groundwork for everyone else in addition to benefiting herself. A flawless dish to Boston earned her 10th assist, transforming a respectable double-double into a memorable triple-double. Because of this, the Fever weren't just good, they were invincible in this game.
With some LeBron James-looking flops if I ever saw them. By the way, Caitlin Clark, a triple-double, 20 points.
So Caitlin Clark is sitting there with her hands up like, you're gonna call that? So then, yes, she went and fouled Angel Reese.
Why was this even more bizarre? There were other stakes besides the court. Imagine making a sizable profit after investing $25,000 in a player's stat line before a game. Dave Portnoy placed a wager on Clark to hit a triple-double, and he did just that. And you know what? He took $350,000 with him. Just prior to tip-off, Dave Portnoy wagered $25,000 on a Caitlin Clark triple-double and won $350,000. Even many outside the WNBA community understood Clark was going to dominate that night, and that gamble paid off handsomely.
Angel Reese acted like she wanted to win an Oscar. I got nothing against any of these women's basketball players.
The ratings, gate revenue, it's not close. She's a media-created rival. ESPN played right into it with that flagrant foul.
They're all super talented. But if we're going to talk about them, we have to talk about them like we talk about any other sport.
The throng? Totally electric. The arena was crowded with more than 17,000 spectators, and the excitement was palpable whenever Clark possessed the ball. The place exploded when she scored. You could hear the awe when she brought down rebounds or made unbelievable passes. This game, which has 17,274 fans, is what a sellout looks like, and it was fully sold out. It was packed, the host stated. Not only do these performances win games, but they also produce memories that will last for years. What is the larger tale then? Is it Clark's cool-headed composure or Reese's inner turmoil in the spotlight? Their future rivalry may have been shaped by this game. Does Clark represent the WNBA's future already? Or is this only the beginning? In addition to being a fantastic game, Caitlin Clark's performance against the Chicago Sky sent a strong message.
Foul. It was not a flagrant foul with the intent to hurt somebody. And
Jason Whitlock, other than jealousy, what is Reese's motivation for animosity towards Clark? I said she's jealous AF. She sees the attendance.
Her ability to dominate the floor and perform well under duress was demonstrated by her triple-double, which included 20 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds. This was done to demonstrate that she is prepared to leave her mark on the WNBA, not to show off her stats. What does this signify for the league, though? Will her feud with Angel Reese shape upcoming bouts, or is Clark's supremacy the main attraction right now? How far can Clark go, and will Reese be able to answer in their upcoming matchup? Tell me in the comments. This is only the beginning.